More anticipated than a SpaceX launch. We're about an hour away from Tesla's highly anticipated fourth quarter earnings release. Senior Autos reporter Pras Subramanian will be tracking that story for us. Pras, what are some key things you're going to be watching for later this afternoon?
So first and foremost, the big numbers are revenue, about $24 billion for the quarter, adjusted EPS of $1.12 for that profitability metric. But the big things are stuff like gross margins, right? We had those big price cuts in Q1, so they're not going to be reflected in the Q4 margins, but any indication on guidance will give some kind of investors and analysts a peek into what's happening after those big price cuts. People like Bernstein's Tony Sacconaghi, very bearish on Tesla, very concerned about these price cuts affecting margins.
And I also think the big question there, though, is on the flip side, what it's going to do to demand, how big of a boost that could potentially be for the rest of this year.
Yeah, other analysts are kind of saying, hey, you know what, these price cuts actually will boost demand. We shouldn't worry so much about margins in that case because they're going to ramp up in Texas, ramp up in Berlin. That'll actually help their cost basis and actually make those price cuts kind of palatable.
Really, about 1 million questions for the call. On the top of your list, what would you, if you had a shot, what do you want to hear from Elon?
One shot, huh? Well,
just one.
If they don't address any kind of discussion about the volume targeting, the deliveries for the year, I think that's something that a lot of analysts are saying. You need to come clean on whether you can hit 50%.
They're up big time, right?
I mean, they had about 40%.
Didn't hit their goals, but up 40%.
Up 40%. But this year will be 2 million vehicles. That would be 50% compound growth rate. That means you're making 500,000 vehicles at every factory, right, to hit that, which I think is a lot to do in a year.
He's not asking about Twitter.
I was just going to say,
a
lot of people want to know is Twitter, whether or not he's going to name a CEO, what the timeline, I guess it's more so the timeline of that in terms of, and also just how much time he's spending on Twitter versus how much time he's spending at Tesla.
Yeah. It'll definitely come up, at least in the analyst portion. How committed is Elon Musk to Tesla right now? How much time is committed to the company? Because right now it doesn't seem like he's there that often, right? It's Twitter. There's launches at SpaceX in Texas, right? How much time is he devoting to Tesla? Is he even going to be on the call today? I think he will be, but he hasn't actually committed or said anything as far as I know. So that's a big question they'll be asked about him. How committed is he? Is he going to sell any more stock? I mean, that's a big story for people too.
Huge question. What about Giga Nevada? What do we know?
So Giga Nevada right now is doing the batteries and powertrains, and they just announced yesterday they're going to make a new facility in northern Nevada near Reno to actually build some more batteries, but also some semi-trucks there too. So that's sort of a big news yesterday, $3.6 billion plant there. So kind of a big deal, actually, from that point of view.
Certainly is a big deal. You're looking at Tesla shares up just over 1% ahead of this report. Pras Subramanian, thanks so much. And if you want full coverage of the Tesla earnings call, you can catch Pras along with Brad Smith and Brian Zazi for their live after the call special this evening.